Discover how the incredible daughter of a janitor transformed $30 million with her 7 languages. Sofia stood on the bustling corner of Maple and Oak, her heart racing with visions of a future lit by the promise of possibility. In her vibrant urban neighborhood, the aroma of street tacos and the rhythm of salsa danced through the air. But beneath the colors and sounds of her multicultural world, an undercurrent of struggle flowed. As the daughter of a janitor, she witnessed her father's tireless dedication, laboring late into the night to carve out a better life for them. His worn hands and proud smile inspired her to dream big, but the weight of their financial burdens felt like a heavy anchor, pulling her dreams away. Each evening, after school, Sofia donned her old sneakers and joined her father, sweeping floors and mopping up life's messes. She listened to his stories of resilience, echoing the wisdom of elders from her neighborhood. In their tales, she found threads of ambition and the undercurrents of multiple languages: French, Spanish, Mandarin, and more calling to her like a choir of hope. She vowed to learn 7 languages, celebrating her community's diversity, even as she felt the sting of classmates' harsh whispers. Just the janitor's daughter, they said, dismissing her potential like yesterday's trash. But her heart refused to succumb to despair. Then one day, a flicker of opportunity ignited her dreams when a wealthy entrepreneur announced a competition offering a staggering $30 million to the most innovative business idea. With my heart pounding, she envisioned her consultancy, bridging cultures through language. This was it. The moment to honor her father's sacrifices and uplift her community. But doubt's heavy fog crept in. Could she really pull this off? Would leaving her father's side mean abandoning him in their greatest time of need? Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Just as she began to sketch her business plan, chaos struck like a lightning bolt. Her father fell ill, his health waning, leaving her standing at a crossroads. Would she pursue her dreams or stay by his side? With so much at stake, her heart twisted tightly in her chest like a coiled spring, emotions swirling in an overwhelming tide. On the day of the pitch, the room hummed with anticipation. Her anxiety rose. Doubt whispered, suggesting she wouldn't be enough. But as she stood before the judges, she felt the weight of her community's legacy. Stories of her father's strength poured from her lips as she fought back tears. Would her passion resonate, or would it slip away, just like her dreams had felt at times? As the clock ticked down, she took a deep breath, ready to share her truth, ready to embrace both her ambition and the love she held for her family. The decision loomed over her. A spark of hope flickered in her chest. Would they listen? Would they understand the power of her dreams? Sofia's heart raced as she locked eyes with the panel of judges. The room buzzed with energy, a blend of skepticism and curiosity, and she felt small in comparison to the towering figures sitting in judgment. But amid the nervous buzz, there was a spark deep inside, igniting a fire within her. She took a breath, letting the stories of her father and her community wash over her like a warm embrace. "Good afternoon," she began, her voice steady despite the rapid thumping of her heart. "My name is Sofia, and I'm here to tell you about my vision." She glanced at her father's empty seat, wishing he were there for this moment. "My father works as a janitor, and he taught me the value of hard work and the beauty of languages. We've faced challenges, but together we've learned that communication, a simple hello in different languages, can bridge immense gaps." She could feel the weight of her words, wrapping around the audience, tugging at their hearts. As she shared her plan, the ideas flowed like honey. A consulting business that would connect local businesses with international clients, helping them translate not just words, but cultures, dreams, and possibilities. Imagine a world where language barriers disappear, where local tacos reach diners in Paris, or where Chinese handcrafts find homes in our neighborhood, she said, glancing at their intrigued faces. Sofia spoke of the untapped potential within her community, how talented artisans and chefs had been overlooked. By leveraging our rich diversity, we can empower our voices and elevate our stories, she continued, passion soaring with each word. My consultancy will not only help businesses thrive, but it will honor every hard-working individual, like my father, who sacrifices so much for a better tomorrow. The judges shifted in their chairs, their expressions changing from indifference to interest. Ellen, the lead judge, raised an eyebrow. You're saying your father's experience shapes your vision? Sofia smiled, absolutely. He is the heart of my drive. I want to transform not just our lives, but also the lives of others who've been overlooked. Just like him. Feeling their attention, Sofia poured her heart into her closing. I know I'm just the janitor's daughter, but I'm more than that. I am a daughter fueled by love, and a community that believes in dreams. I don't just want to make money, I want to make a difference. Her voice resonated in the room, almost echoing as she concluded, and together, we can turn this vision into reality. As she stepped down from the stage, the applause was thunderous yet distant, her heartbeat drowning out the cheers. Was that enough? Had she truly captivated their interest? Doubt crept back in, clawing at the walls she had just built. But when she caught sight of her father's face in her mind, his tired yet proud smile kept her grounded. Walking away, she felt a surge of hope. But in that moment of triumph, a high-pitched call rang through the air, cutting sharply. Sofia! A familiar voice shouted. It was Marco, her childhood friend. His face glimmered with excitement, but there was an urgency in his eyes. You need to come quick. It's about your dad. Her heart dropped, fear gripping her tightly. What had happened? In that split second, all thoughts of success and business vanished, replaced by a more profound concern. She rushed towards him, a tidal wave of panic surging through her. Would she have to choose between her dreams and her father once again? As she sprinted towards the exit, a chilling uncertainty closed in around her. Would she find her father safe? Would her ambitions pale in comparison to the love she held for him? Or would this moment change everything once more? Sofia's mind raced faster than her feet as she followed Marco through the bustling crowd. The cheers from the presentation faded into the background, replaced by a suffocating silence of worry. Each step toward the exit felt like a weight, heavy with dread. What happened? She gasped, trying to keep up with Marco's hurried pace. He glanced back at her, worry etched across his features. It's at the community center. Your dad, he collapsed while cleaning. They don't know what's wrong. Panic surged through her chest like electricity. She couldn't breathe. Images twisted in her mind, her father, laboring with his mop, his back bent with years of hard work. No, this can't be happening, she whispered, shaking off the horrifying thoughts that threatened to consume her. When they finally reached the community center, the scene was chaotic. A small crowd gathered outside, murmurs of concern swirling like a fog. Sofia pushed through, desperately searching for a familiar face. She spotted a doctor in a white coat, chatting with a lady from the neighborhood. Is he okay? Is my dad okay? She asked, reaching out to grasp the doctor's arm, her voice breaking. The doctor looked compassionate but serious. We're doing everything we can. He mentioned chest pain before he collapsed. We're running tests now. The words hit her like a bucket of ice water. You should keep calm, but what? She asked, unable to mask her impatience and fear. What can I do? Just wait. Make sure you have someone around you. Sofia nodded, even though the room was spinning. Deep breaths, she reminded herself, but taking a deep breath felt impossible. The thought of losing him wasn't something she could process, not when she was so close to achieving everything they had dreamt about. She wandered away, feeling lost in a sea of worry. The celebratory laughter from her presentation echoed in her mind, now ridiculed by the harsh reality before her. Would her dreams ever matter if something happened to her father? Tears pricked at her eyes. Suddenly, a voice sliced through her thoughts. Sofia. It was Ellen, the lead judge. I just heard what happened. I'm so sorry. Thank you, Sofia managed, swallowing hard. Ellen placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. You did wonderfully today. Just know that people are rooting for you. You have a gift that can change lives. As comfort washed over her, Sofia looked in Ellen's eyes, searching for more than just reassurance. In that moment, she realized it wasn't just about her dreams or ambitions. Her father had always been the center of her world. He was her inspiration, her guiding light, but then, her thoughts darkened again. What if this was the moment everything crumbled? What if she couldn't carry on without him? Just then, a nurse emerged, scrubs wrinkled and face serious. Who is here for Mr. Garcia? She called out, and Sofia's heart broke at the sound of her father's name. Every eye turned toward her with an urgency that made her stomach churn. What's wrong? Is he okay? Sofia stepped forward, voice trembling, a mixture of fear and hope coiling inside her. The nurse glanced at her, and for a moment, everything hung in the balance. We need a family member to come with us, she said, holding Sofia's gaze. He needs treatment. It was a simple statement, but its weight pressed down on her chest. Would she take that leap into the unknown? Would her father be all right, and would she still have a future to worry about? As she followed the nurse, Sofia felt as though she were stepping into a storm. Her dreams, her father, none of it felt certain anymore. Please, she thought, just let him be okay. And what then? Would she find the strength to keep pursuing her vision, no matter what? Would this be a turning point, instead of an ending? After all, every heartache was a chance to grow, wasn't it? Sofia walked behind the nurse, her heart hammering in her chest. With every step toward the treatment area, a powerful mix of dread and hope intertwined within her. What would happen next? Would she still have a father to share her dreams with? She focused on the sterile smell of the hallway, trying to ground herself amidst the chaos raging in her mind. The nurse led her into a small waiting room. A single clock ticked loudly on the wall, each second stretching into an eternity as Sofia's anxiety swelled. Her palms felt clammy, and she wiped them on her jeans, wishing she could drown the uncertainty pooling in her stomach. Please, let him be okay, she whispered, even though she didn't know if she was speaking to God, fate, or just trying to convince herself. She felt the weight of the nurse's gaze as she prepared to leave. I'll be back with updates, she promised softly, barely looking up from her clipboard. Sofia sat hunched in a plastic chair, trying to cling to the idea that her father would pull through. Would they laugh about this in a few weeks? A terrifying thought struck her. What if this was a moment she would never forget for the right reasons? The door opened again, and Marco stepped inside, relief flooding his face when he saw her. I was worried, he said, pulling the chair beside her. How's he doing? She shrugged, staring at the floor. We don't know anything yet. I'm here for you, okay? Marco reached over, squeezing her hand. The familiarity of his touch was a comfort she desperately needed, grounding her for a moment. As the seconds turned into minutes, Sofia replayed their last meaningful conversation in her head. They had been in the backyard, laughter punctuating the air like a late summer breeze. Her father had urged her to follow her dreams, always reminding her, you have this fire in you, Sofia. Others see it too. Those words echoed now, mixing with the urgent ticking of the clock. Finally, a doctor stepped into the room, looking tired but determined. Ms. Garcia, he began, and Sofia's heart dropped at the sound of her name. Your father is stable now, but he experienced a heart attack. Those words hit her like a punch. A heart attack? She felt dizzy, the reality of it crashing down around her. Will he be okay? The next few days will be critical. We need to monitor him closely, the doctor explained, but the rest of his words were a blur. Sofia stared at the floor, instinctively retreating into herself. Her father, they had so many plans. Marco's hand squeezed hers again, pulling her back to reality. You need to be with him, he said softly. He needs you now more than ever. Sofia met Marco's eyes, a storm of emotion swirling within her. What if he doesn't wake up? He shook his head, his voice steady. You can't think that way. Your dad is strong. He raised you, didn't he? You're both fighters. Those words ignited something within her, an ember of hope buried under layers of fear. You're right, she breathed. He wouldn't want me to give up. Taking a breath, she stood tall, her heart still thumping violently, but now with a spark of determination. I want to see him. As they walked toward her father's room, her mind began racing again. What would she say? That she loved him? That he inspired her every day? Or maybe just that she was there for him, like he had always been there for her? Pushing the door open, a wave of warmth enveloped her. There he was, lying in the hospital bed, exhausted but alive. Her heart swelled at the sight. Dad, she whispered, walking closer. She tenderly held his hand, feeling its warmth. You're going to be okay. I promise. Suddenly, she realized the truth. She had been too afraid to accept. This was her new beginning, a moment of hope wrapped in struggle. And deep down, another thought sprang forth. If she embraced this, maybe, just maybe, she could find the strength to not only keep her dreams alive but expand them immeasurably. But what would happen if the world she was creating took shape without him? A nerve-wracking question left her wondering as she sat beside him. Would she be brave enough to find a way? Sofia sat beside her father, the rhythm of the heart monitor a steady reminder of life's fragile edges. She traced circles on his palm, feeling the warmth seep into her. It was comforting, grounding, even as the looming presence of uncertainty crept in. She thought of all the nights he had stayed up late to help her with school projects, the way he had championed her every step. Would he still be there to offer his support? The question hung in the air like a cloud ready to burst. Dad, she began, her voice scarcely a whisper, do you remember that time we went on that road trip? Just the two of us? A soft smile spread across her face as the memory flooded back. They had hit the open road, singing along to old rock songs, windows rolled down. You said it's all about the journey, not just the destination. There was no immediate response. Her father lay there, still and silent, but Sofia could almost hear him chuckling. He had a way of making even the worst situations seem like a part of an adventure. She squeezed his hand tighter, as if willing him to respond. We still have so many adventures to have, Dad. Just think of everything we talked about: college, traveling, all the things we hoped to do. Time passed, and with it, a heaviness settled in Sofia's chest. She felt Marco's quiet presence behind her, a solid weight in her corner, just refusing to let her slip away. When she finally turned to find his gaze steady and encouraging, she felt a flicker of relief. In this moment, she was not alone. She glanced at the clock again, each tick amplifying her anxiety. She took a deep breath, courage replacing her doubt. You taught me to be strong, Dad. I'm trying. I'll fight for you. I'll make you proud. A sudden noise from the hallway pulled her attention. It was the sound of hurried footsteps, the murmur of voices all too familiar in the hospital's repertoire. Sofia's heart dropped. Were they coming to take him somewhere? What if it was bad news? Stay here with me, she whispered as she didn't release his hand. Anxiety crept back in, clawing at her. Every moment felt stretched out, emotions roiling deep inside her. I can't lose you, not like this, she confessed, her voice cracking. The thought of living a life without her dad felt unbearable, an empty existence devoid of the laughter, warmth, and wisdom he brought. Do you know what I've learned lately? She asked him, even though she knew he couldn't respond. I've learned I can't do this alone. I need you. It's okay to lean on others, isn't it? The door swung open, and a familiar nurse poked her head in. Ms. Garcia, can I talk to you for a moment? Sofia looked back to her father, panic rising in her chest. Just let me know he's okay, she said, urgency flooding her voice. The nurse's expression softened. He's stable, but there's something I think you should know. Marco shifted next to her, concern etched across his face. Sofia's grip on her father's hand tightened, her heart racing as she looked from the nurse to Marco like they were pieces of a puzzle that didn't fit together yet. Can we do this in here? She asked, reluctant to leave her father's side even for a moment. The nurse exchanged a knowing glance with Marco, and Sofia sensed they were about to reveal something significant, something that could change everything once again. What could it be? Would it offer any hope? Suddenly, her heart pounded in her ears, the noise of the world around her fading into an uncertain silence. Then the nurse stepped back, motioning for her to follow. It's important, she said. Sofia's stomach dropped. What news could be so pivotal? As she took that hesitant step forward, a thought struck her with the force of a freight train. What if the next chapter of her life was about to begin without her realizing it? Would she be ready for it? Sofia followed the nurse down the sterile hallway, each step feeling heavy and charged with unanswered questions. The fluorescent lights flickered above her, casting harsh shadows that danced along the walls. She could feel Marco's presence behind her, a silent sentinel, providing her with strength she desperately needed. The nurse led her into a small consultation room, its walls adorned with motivational posters about hope and healing. It felt eerily out of place, like a bright painting in a darkened room. Sofia swallowed hard, forcing herself to breathe. She tried to lock away the fear swelling in her chest. As the nurse closed the door gently behind them, Sofia focused on her face, searching for clues. What is it? Is my dad? Her voice faltered, thoughts colliding in a chaotic storm. He's stable, Sofia. But the pause hung thick in the air. But what? Sofia pressed, urgency slipping into her tone. The nurse took a deep breath. There's a treatment available that could improve his condition significantly. It's experimental, but there's potential. Sofia felt her heart quicken with a mix of hope and dread. What's the catch? It must be expensive or something. Is it dangerous? It's not without risks. There are side effects, and it requires a commitment. The nurse's eyes softened with empathy. But it's a chance, an opportunity. Sofia's mind raced. An opportunity. It sounded like a lifeline tossed in a stormy sea. Her father had taught her to grab every chance, no matter how precarious it seemed. But could she stand up to the risks? Would it put more strain on their already fragile situation? Can I think about it? Can I talk to him about it? She asked, her voice trembling slightly. I don't want to make a decision without him. That's understandable, the nurse replied. But time is of the essence. The sooner we can start, the better his chances. A lump formed in Sofia's throat. If only her dad could hear this. If only they could sit together and weigh the options, share the hope that glimmered in the shadows. Okay, I'll do it. I'll talk to him. We'll figure this out together. As they left the room and headed back to her father's bedside, the adrenaline coursed through her veins. She could feel the burning determination rising inside her. Was she ready to step up to the challenge? Marco was waiting, concern etched across his face. What did she say? He's stable, she began, her voice steadier now. There's a treatment, something experimental. We have to decide quickly. When she noticed her father's strong, familiar features in the thin sunlight trickling through the window, hope mixed with an unshakable fear. What if he said no? What if he didn't want to risk his health for a chance that might not work? Are you going to tell him? Marco asked, breaking her reverie. Sofia nodded, then hesitated. What if he doesn't want to fight anymore? You never know until you ask, Marco said softly. He your dad. He always believed in fighting for what mattered. The resolve in his voice ignited a spark of courage within her. Sofia walked to her father's bedside, squeezing his hand, willing him to feel the warmth of her encouragement. Dad, I need you to wake up, she whispered, her heart thrumming with the weight of possibility. But as she waited for a response, a sinking dread began to settle in. What if he didn't? What if this moment slipped into silence with her unasked questions hanging in the air? With her pulse quickening, she leaned closer, eyes searching his face for any sign of life. We have a decision to make. And I can't do it without you. Would he hear her? Would he have the will to fight just one more time? As the heart monitor continued its soft beeping, Sofia held her breath, entrapped by the delicate balance of hope and fear, wishing for the strength to be the daughter he always believed her to be. Then, just as her mind raced with uncertainty, she felt a faint squeeze in return. A flicker of warmth that sent her heart soaring, even as doubt clouded her thoughts. Could this be the connection she needed to carry them both forward? Sofia's heart raced as she felt the gentle squeeze of her father's hand, a small but powerful reassurance that he was still with her. Dad? She leaned in closer, trying to catch a glimpse of any flicker behind his closed eyelids. The rhythm of the heart monitor pulsed steadily, a constant reminder of his fragile existence. Please, open your eyes, she whispered, her voice a mix of command and plea. For a moment, the room felt too tight, the silence suffocating. She glanced back at Marco, who nodded with an expression of hope, urging her to keep fighting. Dad, I've got something important to talk to you about. She took a deep breath, gathering every ounce of courage that had been built up inside her since the diagnosis. There's a new treatment. Silence wrapped around them, stretching into agonizing seconds. If only her dad could hear her, grasp the weight of his fight. As her heart thudded in her chest, she felt the urgency pressing her. The nurse said it could really help you. But, it's experimental. It could be risky. For a fleeting moment, she hoped he might somehow understand. The least she wanted was for him to feel her heart, to sense the love she was pouring into every word. I know you're tired, Dad. But you've always taught me to fight. To never back down. Then, she saw a flicker. A twitch of his fingers. That didn't just belong to chance, it was a response. A window of opportunity. Could it be? Dad, please, she pushed harder, feeling tears prick her eyes. Just give me a sign. If you want to fight, hold my hand again. Trembling, Sofia didn't know if she could bear it. Moments stretched out like an eternity until she finally felt that hand grasp hers once more, stronger this time. A gasp escaped her lips. You're still here. You want to fight? Marco moved closer, his eyes lit with cautious hope. That's it, Sofia. He's with you. He hears you. Dad, if we make this choice together, we have to be all in. This could mean taking risks. It could mean facing pain. Yet with every breath she took, that small grip filled her with hope. There was a resolve she hadn't noticed before, buried deep within the folds of fear. But I need to hear you say it. I need to know you want this as much as I do. As if sensing the weight of her words, another squeeze met her palm, more pronounced this time. She could almost hear him, could feel the unspoken promise of partnership in that simple grasp. Her heart swelled. They were both willing to reach for the chance, even if it felt like standing on the edge of a cliff. I'll tell the doctors, she breathed, her voice shaky with a mix of joy and anxiety. We'll do it together, Dad. We won't just hope, we'll fight. Marco grinned, pride flooding his expression as he clapped a hand on her shoulder. You did it, Sofia. Just like he would be wanted. But in that moment of triumph, as Elena's hope surged, a new fear slithered into her mind. What if the treatment was more than they anticipated? What if the process turned dark? Was she ready for what lay ahead? Suddenly, the door swung open, and a doctor stepped in, carrying a stack of charts. "Sofia, we need to discuss the next steps regarding your father's treatment." The words hung in the air, heavy as lead. This was the moment they had been waiting for, the gateway to an uncertain future. Sofia glanced at her father, imagining the journey they were about to take. They were stepping into the unknown together. And as the doctor began to speak, Sofia realized this was just the beginning. She wasn't just fighting for her dad, she was fighting for their bond, for their future. Would they emerge stronger? Or would the journey change everything she ever knew? As the doctor outlined the risks, Sofia held her breath, the air thick with tension. This was their chance, but at what price? Sofia tried to concentrate, but the doctor's words felt like they were wrapped in fog. She caught snippets, a low voice outlining potential side effects, the possibility of extra treatments if the first didn't work, the uncertainty looming like a dark cloud. "Are you with me, Sofia?" Marco's concerned voice cut through her thoughts. She blinked, realizing she had been staring at the floor. Yeah, I'm here," she stammered, shaking her head slightly to refocus. She took a deep breath, and her eyes returned to the doctor, trying to absorb every detail. "There are risks we must weigh," the doctor continued, adjusting his glasses. "There's a chance your father might not respond well. We'll need to monitor him closely. Side effects could include nausea, fatigue, or worse. But it's an option we can consider if you're prepared." Sofia felt her heart race again, panic gripping her. She looked at her father, lying so still. What if he doesn't want to continue? "Then we respect his decision," the doctor replied softly. "It's his body, his choice." Those words echoed in her mind. She had been so consumed with her desire to fight that she hadn't fully considered her father's feelings. What if he was tired? What if he had grown weary of the battle? Could she really ask him to take on more pain? "Sofia, remember," Marco said gently, sensing her inner turmoil. "You're not alone in this. The risks matter, but so do the chances, so do the moments we still have." "Yes," she responded, but doubt lingered in her heart. Could she push for something he might not be ready for? The doctor glanced at the charts again as Sofia fought her emotions. "Take your time," he said, his voice steady. "Discuss this with your dad. You know him best." Sofia nodded, swallowing hard. Can I be alone with him for a moment?" "Of course," the doctor replied, stepping back. Sofia felt Marco's hand on her shoulder, a grounding presence as she walked toward her father's bedside. The room felt smaller now, all the machines buzzing and beeping, all the memories swirling around her mind. She reached for her father's hand again, holding it tightly while stealing glances at his face. "Hey, Dad," she whispered, the words barely escaping her lips. "It's me. I'm here. I've been talking with the doctor. There's this treatment we can try, and it sounds promising. But it's also scary." A tear rolled down her cheek as she continued, "I don't want to assume you want to go through with it. I just need to know what you want. I want you to fight, but I need to hear it from you." She squeezed his hand, her heart racing with hope and fear. In that moment of silence, she felt the world fade away. It was just her and her father, a bond that stretched beyond words. Minutes passed, an eternity in their own right. Just as despair threatened to envelop her again, she felt the tiniest flick of his finger, a glimmer of acknowledgement. "Dad?" She breathed, hope rising once more. Was that a yes? "Can we fight this together?" The door creaked open, and Marco peeked inside, concern painted on his face. She shot him a look. This was the moment. "Whatever your decision, I'll support you," Marco said, his voice a steady hum in the background. Sofia's heart was pounding as she turned back to her father, desperate for a sign, any sign. The weight of their shared past pressed on her chest. Would he show her that same fighting spirit she had always known? Just then, the heart monitor let out a swift beep, sharper than before, as if urging them to take the leap into uncertainty together. What if this new path led them to healing or deeper struggles? Would her father muster the strength for both of them, and could she truly bear the heartache if they had to navigate a new reality together? Sofia's breath caught in her throat as she focused intently on her father's face, willing him to say something, anything. The machines around them hummed and beeped with a rhythm that felt both comforting and cruel. She leaned in closer, her heart thumping like a drum in her ears. "Please, Dad," she whispered, "I believe in you. Just let me know you're still in this fight with me." For a fleeting moment, the world outside this room faded away, leaving only the two of them. All the laughter and stories they'd shared came flooding back. She remembered family dinners, lazy Sunday mornings, and the times he cheered loudly at her soccer games, full of pride. She could almost hear his voice, the way it would always boom at the most unexpected moments, filling the air with warmth. Then it happened. A slight nod. It was barely perceptible, but it was there. Her father was responding, and hope surged within Sofia like a lifeline thrown into turbulent waters. She felt tears welling up again, this time from a place of relief. "Thank you, Dad. Thank you for fighting with me," she said, the words tumbling out like a prayer. Marco, sensing the shift in energy, stepped fully into the room, his expression transforming from anxiety to a soft smile. He had always been her rock, but now he radiated strength. "Did he just give us the green light?" he asked, a hint of amusement lifting the weight in the room. "Yes," Sofia exclaimed, turning to Marco with eyes full of light. He nodded. "We can do this." The doctor re-entered the room just then, a look of cautious optimism on his face. "What's our decision?" Sofia straightened herself and took a deep breath. "Dad wants to try the treatment," she said, her voice steady. "We'll fight this together." The doctor nodded, a professional smile creeping onto his face. "Excellent. I'll start the paperwork. We'll prepare everything for tomorrow morning." As he turned to leave, he briefly paused, glancing between Sofia and her father. "You two have each other, and that's a powerful advantage. Lean into that strength. Family can be the best medicine." After the doctor departed, the silence turned into a sanctuary, allowing Sofia and Marco to share a small moment of triumph. "Did you see that?" He nodded. Sofia couldn't contain her joy, wrapping her arms tightly around Marco. She needed the connection, needed to feel supported now more than ever. Marco hugged her back, his strength imbuing her with confidence. "Now we have to prepare for the journey ahead. It won't be easy, but we'll tackle it together. One step at a time." They spent the next few hours talking softly, discussing plans for the treatment, and recalling happy memories, each story building an invisible wall against the uncertainty that loomed outside. But in the quiet moments, Sofia's thoughts would drift to the unknown, a world filled with doctors, needles, and procedures. As she watched her father peacefully resting, exhaustion overshadowed any celebration. What if tomorrow turned out to be the hardest day yet? Just as doubt began to creep in again, the heart monitor emitted a steady, rhythmic beep, almost like a reassuring heartbeat, echoing their resolve. "Tomorrow starts a new chapter," Marco said softly, sensing her turmoil. "We'll face whatever comes." But as she glanced at her father, still so fragile, Sofia knew they were not just fighting for tomorrow. They were fighting for every single moment they could share. Would her dad's strength hold through the trials ahead? And as questions swirled in her mind, one thought lingered most, a faint fear that tomorrow would change everything once again. What if they weren't ready for what lay ahead? The sun rose softly over the city, a gentle light filling the hospital room where Sofia had spent the night, clutching her father's hand. The warmth of dawn felt like a promise, whispering hope into the quiet space. Sofia stirred, rubbing the sleep from her eyes, her heart a whirlwind of anticipation. Today was the day they would begin the treatment. Today marked the start of their fight. Her father's chest rose and fell steadily, a sign he was still there, still in it with her. She squeezed his hand gently, the warmth mixing with her own resolve. "Dad," she murmured, her voice barely above a whisper. "We're going to face this together." A flicker of reassurance washed over her, a quiet affirmation echoing in their connection. Moments later, a team of doctors entered, bustling with purpose, ready to implement the treatment plan. Their talk was clinical and swift, but Sofia focused on the energy in the room, the way her father's presence radiated courage with each passing second. She could sense it deep within her, an unwavering bond strengthening as they faced this challenge head-on. Then came the moment they all had been waiting for, her father's first treatment. Sofia held her breath. Swallowing down her fear, she turned to see Marco, who had been a steadfast pillar by her side since the beginning. He offered her a nod of encouragement. "You got this, Sofia." As the first dose settled into her father's veins, he kept his eyes closed, but Sofia traced patterns on his palm, feeling the warmth of the moment envelop them both like a blanket. "We're in this together," she whispered, and for the first time, she felt true strength surging between them. Days turned into weeks, a blur of treatments and uncertain moments. There were victories, each small improvement lighting up Sofia's heart like fireworks in the night sky. And then there were setbacks, moments when hope waned, and doubt crept in. But with every struggle, her spirit remained unbroken. She was discovering the depth of her resilience, and the love between her and her father only grew stronger. "I've been thinking," her father said one afternoon, his voice a little stronger, though still edged with fatigue. "Once this is over, we need to make some plans." "Bigger dreams, Sofia." Her heart soared at his words. "Like what?" she asked, excitement bubbling in her chest. "Traveling, seeing the world you love. The vibrant places that inspired your dreams." A smile crept across his face, and for a moment, they were not in a hospital room but on an adventure. Sofia nodded, feeling the rush of possibilities swirling in the air between them. "I want to help those like us, Dad. Show them that their dreams matter just like yours taught me." A shared understanding hung in the air, a deep familial bond that lightened the burdens of yesterday's fears. With each passing day, Sofia realized it wasn't just about her future anymore, they were embarking on a new journey together. The treatments progressed, and they began to notice significant changes. Her father's strength returned, his laughter a familiar sound that filled the air with hope, just like old times. Each day felt like a victory, each shared moment another brick laid in the foundation of their meaningful future. On the day her father was discharged from the hospital, Sofia stood outside those doors, her heart pounding in rhythm with the excitement swirling inside her. "Welcome back," Marco cheered, arms wide. Sofia's father emerged frail yet radiant, the sun catching the new glint in his eyes. "We're ready, aren't we?" he said, a sparkle in his voice echoing the promise of tomorrow. "Absolutely," Sofia affirmed, taking her father's arm. They strolled together, the weight of the past lifting, replaced by dreams and endless possibilities. As they stepped out into the world, Sofia felt it within her an unshakable belief that anything was possible. She was ready to embrace her future, filled with dreams, language, and love, lifting herself and her community. "Let us show them," she said, looking at her father, determination shining in her eyes. "Together," he replied with pride, a radiant smile breaking through his tiredness. With hearts full, they set out to heal not only their own lives but the tapestry of those around them, weaving dreams into reality, one word, one story at a time. This was just the beginning of their incredible journey where lives intertwined in passion, promise, and transformation. Now, as you've witnessed Sofia's inspiring journey, it's time to become part of this story. You need to subscribe now, so you don't miss the next exclusive tales that await. This is the moment to show your support. Smash that like button now to feed the ever-hungry algorithm. Leave a comment sharing your feelings about the transformation you just experienced and how it touched your heart. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this uplifting change. Your support matters. Let us grow this incredible community together.